good evening, everybody. Good evening, Cindy. Welcome, everybody, to our edition of Skeptic Haven. Tonight, we are going to be discussing leaving religion behind, and we've got a very special guest from my neck of the woods here. Allow us to introduce you to Bolelang Rakeepile. Lumelan Tate, how are you?
Hi, everybody. Yes, I appreciate being called special, but I'm as special as all of you. How are you doing?
Very well indeed. So Tati, we we like to introduce people to atheists from all over the world. Just to show people that we are not alone, because sometimes it's a lonely road, this journey of not believing in gods. And I think you especially have some experience that, our members would, like to hear about, when it comes to leaving religion behind in the context of the Jehovah's Witnesses, which is the religion that you were a part of, in the earlier part of your life. There's a lot of consequences that comes along with leaving that religion and leaving that control group behind. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your experience. Just start with with a background. Maybe tell us how you got into the Jehovah's Witnesses, what the experience was like, and then take us through the journey of what made you decide to leave it behind, and what kind of repercussions this had in your life, if any, and maybe you also know of some other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, who've shared their experiences with you. If you can just maybe tell us, what that whole experience is like from your side.
Yeah, my story is different from others because I did not get into Jehovah's Witnesses. I
Right.
opened my eyes, then she was. There it is. I'm a Jehovah's Witnesses. I did not choose.
Right. So you were born into it.
Yes, I was born into that. My parents got into the religion in the 1950s,
Right.
and I was born in 1965. And
Right.
by the time that I was born, they were very staunch members of the religion.
Right. Right.
So I grew up in that religion. I did all the things that people in that religion do. Saturdays going to street work where we dish pamphlets to people that are passing in the streets. Sunday going house to house, knocking on doors and preaching.
Right.
Then other days, there's a lot of activity that you do as a Jehovah's Witnesses.
Uh-huh.
They have what is called home Bible studies. That is where people showed interest from the initial contact. Now want to have a study. So this
Mm-hmm.
home Bible studies happen right through the week. A
Right.
person can have 12 home Bible studies. And so it depends on when the appointment is on a weekly basis.
Right.
So even during the week, we go with parents to this home Bible studies. But that's not all. There are meetings on Tuesday, where I grew up, on Thursday, and on Sunday. So
Right.
it's a
Right.
very busy life.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like a high control environment.
Yes, and it's difficult to have a childhood
Yeah. Yeah.
because you sort of get into serious things from a very early age.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I remember We had a book then. I think it was in the 60s and 70s,
Mm-hmm.
called From Lost Paradise to New Paradise,
Right.
a pinkish book. And as a child, I knew the parts in it now. And when visitors come, I could show even that home. Can you see what God wants people to do? Can you see what is going to happen if people don't listen to God? There's this end that is coming, that is imminent. And if you don't, you are going to be part of that. And people I would see, they would be shocked about my statement, and some would take me serious. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I experienced this thing from a very, very early age.
Yeah. Yeah.
If even what was it? I was in lower primary, because
Yeah.
schools were divided then into lower primary and higher primary. Now
Yeah.
there's only just primary school,
Yes. Yes.
taking from grade 1 to grade 7.
Right.
During our time, there was sub A to standard 2 in lower primary, and
Right.
you've got standard 3 to standard 5 in higher primary. In lower
Right.
primary, already, I was giving talks. We call them talks in Jehovah's Witnesses. It's not preaching. And because I was a little lighty, then I had to stand on a chair
Right.
behind. It's a pulpit, but they call it a stage. Uh,
Right.
they don't call it. Jehovah's Witnesses don't like calling it a pulpit at all. So I
Right.
would stand on a chair, and because I'm short, then so that I'm on the mic and I start telling the congregation. And yeah, it was
Yeah.
fascinating as a young person to see what you say wows the audience, and they go,
Right. Of
wow,
course. Yeah. Yeah.
wow, this little boy. And so it happened that way.
Yeah.
But along the way, I discovered something. The more
Right.
I got in touch with myself, the more I realized that I don't believe this whole stuff.
Right. Right.
And God, that was a big contention. I wanted to know, hey, we talk about this God, but hey, who's God? Where is God? Why
Yeah.
is he not talking to us every time we read about him and we tell people about what God has said? But every time it's from the book. Uh,
Yeah.
I went to my father. It was around age 14 when I could stomach it and say, tell me, where's this God? Who's this God that we are telling people about? I've never seen him. I've never heard anything from him. I pray to him, but the oak doesn't reply, doesn't say anything. It's like I'm
Yeah.
talking to myself. And
Mm.
that's the time when my father said, no, uh, you don't understand. There are certain things that are similar to what you are dealing with.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
said, tell me, time. Do you know time? I said, I know time. And he said, when did time start? I said, no, I don't know. Time. Time, it's even before time started, it was time. So
Yeah.
time is like that. So, and it says, when is time going to end?
Mm.
I said, yeah, no, it don't end. So,
It,
Yeah.
it's it's quite
uh,
fascinating to see that uh, to to prove the existence of something that has so much impact on your day-to-day life. They go to such places that nobody can understand anyway. Beginning of time,
yes.
end of time. Nobody does understand that. Nobody knows anything about that. And yet
Uh,
you're asking about why can I see you and I can't see God like you see things every day. But the only answer you have is the God of the gaps, basically.
Yeah, they will go for things that are difficult to understand. And during that time that I was confused, then he called. He said, "Tell me also, space. Do you know space?" I said, "Yeah, I know space. And that's where we are." He said, "Yeah." Then he says, "On the other side of space, what is there?" I said, "No, there can't be anything in space." He says, "Where does space end?" I said, "No. Yeah, it must be space and space and space and space everywhere." Says, now you understand God. God is like that. God is God doesn't have a start, doesn't have an end. He's everywhere. You try to understand him with your mind of knowing where things start and end. You won't understand it. And he said, "No, your problem is that you don't read enough about God. You have to know God." So I said, if you start to give it serious attention, then you'll see that you'll start to understand God. And that I was 14 when I had that discussion with my father. Then I started giving serious attention to reading. In fact, I was the baby that likes to go to the library. At home, we are a big family. I come from a family of 9 children, and I'm a child number 6. And yeah, out of all of them, I'm the only one who took visits to libraries then. It was in the 70s. There was no internet, so my first work, what I was reading, my love was Tintin and Hulk. As a child, when I used to go to the library, I would go and read this comics, and I moved into other books, got into science and the likes. But now, when he told me that the Bible also is something that you've got to give serious consideration, from age 14, I started giving the Bible serious attention, reading it and reading it. And yeah, just a year down the line, the effect of it could be seen in the congregation. Already, I started to see how people now relate to me because of how I knew the scriptures. And yeah, it was around 18 when I got baptized. I got baptized, but even the issue of baptism with Jehovah's Witnesses, it's peer pressure.
Right.
We know that Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in child baptism.
Yes.
But here's something that will happen. Every time you meet these older oaks in the congregation, every time they'll keep on throwing the question, when are you dedicating your life to Jehovah? And it happens and it happens. And I remember in primary, when I was 12, there's a guy who got baptized. He was 10. Gift baptized when he was 10. And it never made sense to me because I never understood baptism then. But it's only after studying the Bible and also getting a girlfriend, because at age 17, the other thing that happened, I met a girl that drove me crazy. She drove me crazy.
Was she also Jehovah's Witness?
Yes. And she used to go to another school, and she would pass my school as she go home. Look at her and say, wow. Just follow her. and the combination of it, because you can't marry somebody in Jehovah's Witnesses if you are not baptized also. I think also that contributed to my baptism also, because I said, she's mine. I want her. And yes, eventually I ended marrying her. But during the time of studying, I ended up being very knowledgeable, and it presented another challenge to me.
Yeah.
Of elders coming to me every time and saying, you are ready to serve God now. You are baptized, and now the congregation needs your services. And I'll say, no, I'm not ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say, but give it consideration. And eventually, because they come every time, then I ended up agreeing. Then I became a ministerial servant. That was in my teens. Also, when I became a ministerial servant. Ministerial servant, it's like assistance to the elders in the congregation. But it never ended there. When I was a ministerial servant, then every time they would come, now you are ready to become an elder. We see the type of talks that you give, that they are so encouraging to the congregation and whatever. You've got to dedicate your life more to Jehovah. We want elders. Then in my 20s, early 20s, I caved in and became an elder. That is where the rubber hits the road. That is
Right.
where you start to see the problems in the congregation. You go to families, family problems and whatever. People, when they fornicate or when they masturbate or whatever, all the things that we do as humans. Then they come and tell you about these things. I've done this and I've done this. And wow, shit. You listen to them and say, this person tells me you masturbate. I masturbate also. But now you've got to read scriptures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now you've
yes.
got to chastise them, and
Yeah.
it's
And they
crazy.
leave and say, hey, shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know when that little guy down there gets hurt and gets issue, you have to deal with him. But now I told this person to pray about it and read him
Yeah.
scriptures and showed him books. There's a book that used to say, teaches that you take a cold shower when you are hoodie. Uh, that's the advice you give it to people. But I never had a shower even at home. I'm from the township, so I never used to take a shower. I would just wank it up and pew.
But, you know what I find so fascinating about the Jehovah's Witnesses? What they have got this idea. I don't know if I'm understanding this correctly. Maybe you can fill in the blanks for me. But they have made predictions about the end times, and actually, in the past
Yeah,
century, they have actually set dates.
What
yeah,
times?
that's their hobby.
Yeah, and it was specific. Then it was this year, and then after that year came and went, then they went for another date, and then this has happened 5 times already.
5 or 4? Yeah. The first time was in
Is it 5 times?
1914. I think it was 4.
Yeah.
No, I wonder how many times it is.
So what's
From
the
the 18
thinking
something,
behind
from the
Yeah.
18 something, it is the millennium religion,
that? Right.
because they talk about 1,000 years where Jesus is going to rule the earth directly,
Right.
and during that time we won't die, we won't grow old, the dead are going to be resurrected from their graves, we'll be playing with lions, imagining myself twist a lion's tail, come kitty 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 big kitty. Ah. So those are my childhood fantasies that I
Right.
had, playing with lions. Yeah, and in a world where everything is a garden,
Right. I've
no
seen those
dumping
pictures in
heaps
their
and all
books.
those things.
They have these books that they distribute, watchtowers, and there's never photographs. It's always like hand painted pictures of paradise, and there's always a man and a woman
Yeah.
hand in
Where are
hand,
you
and then
going to
all
get a
the
picture of a
animals.
paradise?
Yeah.
You must go to that park in New York. What do they call it? Central Park, and get people to stop there. That when you try to shoot the camera and some junkie is going to pass at the behind. So you better draw them. Not in this condition that we are in. A paradise is not a reality now,
Yeah.
because there are issues that are really serious that are bothering me as an individual. Also, there are a lot of poor people. There's poverty that we cannot deal with, and maybe such things, when you look at how people are suffering, can touch a soft spot that you run with these people, even though you don't know who's God and you don't believe in God. But just the dream of it sounds nice, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
now, at a certain point, you find yourself trapped in two worlds where you know that you don't believe, but also you've got people who believe in you when you tell them about what is written in the Bible, and you see them being encouraged, thanking you earnestly, and that's the point where you are in shit. So sorry for the
Yeah.
language.
No, by all
Does YouTube penalize us? You know you are in trouble there, because now you you have a disbelief, and you have people that you are helping, and you are trapped.
Yeah.
And
It's
that
a very
trap then with
uncomfortable place. It's a very uncomfortable place to be in because, deep down, you know that there's something wrong with the belief, but you're getting all the confirmation and the affirmation from your external environment. So it causes
yeah,
it causes a conflict within you. That's very difficult
yes.
to resolve. And sometimes a lot of people will give into that conflict and just suppress, whatever that they'll make themselves believe things, to have that conflict just subside.
But how also I noticed that uh, the issue of not having a belief manifest itself is how I related with my family.
Right.
You are supposed to have a home Bible study with your family every week. I
Mm.
never did that stuff.
Yeah.
You are supposed to have all these sessions where you teach children about the Bible. I was not big in that. Uh, you are supposed also to have private sessions where you talk to God privately. No, I never pray to God privately. I only
Yeah.
pray to God when I'm in a congregation or when I'm sitting with people,
Yeah.
because prayer never made sense to me as an individual when I was alone.
Yeah.
And this thing eats you.
Yeah.
And eventually, I ended up living a double life,
Yeah. Yeah.
pleasing family and friends with this facade of being a Christian, but also on the other side, knowing that now this is a gimmick,
Yeah.
and that's a difficult position. And
Yeah.
eventually, one day, I saw this lady who blew me off my feet also,
Mm.
like it happened with when I met my ex-wife,
Yeah.
and fell in love with her.
Right.
And that's what helped me to break away from this virtual circle that was
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because now, when it happened, that's when I had to tell them at the congregation, I fornicated.
Right.
Wow, you fornicated. Uh,
Right.
are you sorry? Yes, I'm sorry. I never wanted to do it. Who wants to, who wants to cheat? So
Yeah.
yes, I was sorry about it. Then they forgave me. They forgave me and never disfellowshipped me.
Right.
That
Is fornication, is that something that they disfellowship people for?
yes, if you fornicate and you are adamant about it.
Okay, so
But
unrepentant.
during the time that they forgave me,
Mhm.
that's when I knew. I said, no, I don't want to come back. I don't want to come back.
Yeah.
Why did they forgive me?
Because they wanted you to come back.
No, because they said I showed remorse. But showing remorse, it's not showing remorse to Jehovah. Showing remorse that, yes, I've got a family, I've got 2 kids, I've got a wife, then I fornicated. But yeah, I needed time out to think about it. So they forgave me. But after forgiving me, then I'm supposed to come to the congregation and be like everything is happening. Because that time I was an elder. The only thing that they announced is that I'm no more an elder.
Right.
But I never wanted to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I stopped going to the meetings, even though I was forgiven. Then they tried to come and talk to me. What is happening? We are not coming. Now that's the time that I said, no, no, I can't do this. I can't do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then that's when I was disfellowshipped.
Right. And what was that
So I was
process
out.
like?
For me, it was a relief, a sense of relief.
Right.
The only thing that was a pain was losing my family, because telling my family about it, it would be difficult that I don't have faith. I don't have faith. I don't have faith. I've never had faith, and faith doesn't make sense to me. It will never make sense. I know out of the whole family, I'm the one who has been very active in spiritual matters, because I read and I understand matters. And that's why I became, I even went to high levels in the congregation, because of that passion of knowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But believing, no. When it comes to believing, it's zero. I don't believe anything. Even now, maybe.
I'm in the same boat there. I don't want to believe. I want to know.
Yeah. You see, you have written live there. I don't believe that this is live. I'm going to check after the live to see whether this was really live. Because what if you have just put a stamp there written live 28, whatever.
There, you know?
That is natural to me. I don't believe.
Yeah.
I doubt things. You tell me that this thing works like this, I dismantle it and check how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the problem that I have, because I want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and the church does not like questions. They don't.
No. In fact, after leaving Jehovah's Witnesses, I've visited other churches, thinking that maybe I'll fit. Because this is what happens then when you leave Jehovah's Witnesses. Every person that you have known, because my career success depended on Jehovah's Witnesses. I career-wise, I was flourishing during that time, because I knew guys in high places who were in the congregation. But then, when you get this fellowship, then all of them shun you. Then you are on your own.
And what
So I
is that
started.
what is the just fill in the blanks for me here. What is the shunning process like? So, say for example, you are shunning me. Do I and I come to knock on your door? What happens?
No, you don't knock on my door. When you are shunned, you don't go to those people. They don't go to you.
Yeah. Do they just ignore you completely?
Yeah, you are dead until you come back.
But how does that
some
work?
Some relatives that don't listen to the shunning thing. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Another thing that made me knew that I don't have faith. I've never shunned people. I used to talk to people that are disfellowshipped from when I was young. I never did that stuff.
Yeah.
So there are others who don't do it also fully. Those ones, when they meet you, they would say, Jehovah loves you. Come back, please. Jehovah loves you. They are not even supposed to say that to me.
Yeah, well, if he loved you, he wouldn't have banned you in the first place, right?
Yeah, he loves me conditionally. If I
Yeah.
love him, he loves me like that. Yeah. But no,
Exactly.
I never wanted to come back. I love my family, but I was really stuck. Now, yes, my family, I cannot communicate with my family. I'm talking about my children, first two children, and my ex-wife. I cannot have any conversation with them except what is absolute necessary. So yeah, it
Yeah.
works like that in that religion. I was an elder. I know what we told people. So I don't have a problem with them. I'm not going to sit here and cry about it because I was part of it and I know how it works. Uh, yeah, I hope people will understand one day and they will drop out of the hypnotism.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's difficult. The more you're living, if you leave, you sort of
Yeah.
emphasize it that Satan is around and Satan, look, he took Brother Rakeepile. You know how
Yeah.
Brother Rakeepile was good and Satan took him? So we should be vigilant. So
Yeah.
you sort of reinforce it by leaving
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just the. You know,
Hey, you know what happened?
yeah.
I say, what happened? Uh, Today I never even knew that I would be sitting in a restaurant. I thought I would be sitting in my lounge doing this interview. Then uh, we had to trick a friend so that he never sees that he has a birthday. And look where I am now.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I believe that the Jehovah's Witnesses don't. Somebody told me they don't celebrate birthdays or something, or they
yeah,
don't
no,
celebrate.
no. My first birthday was when I was 50. I was out of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I never started that nonsense. Somebody did it for me for as a surprise. And funny, even when they did it for me, I never enjoyed it. I appreciated the gesture, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was like, people, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Huh?
But
So
that's
the
funny,
second
you know.
time,
Like it's such a cultural phenomenon, you know, that people recognize, you know, every single time the sun goes once around the planet while you were on the day that you were
yeah,
born, you have to recognize it.
it's absolutely not there within Jehovah's Witnesses. So I've
Uh,
had two birthdays, and both
mhm.
of them is different friends that just threw a party by surprise.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like they invite you there when you enter. Hey, a lot of people, happy birthday. I say, people, why didn't you do it for me yesterday? Because yesterday also I survived another day.
It's true.
Or why don't you do it for me every seconds? Because every seconds I'm surviving. What
Yeah,
is so fascinating about a year? I'm still stuck with that mentality, and I don't think I'll be able to come out of the issue
yeah,
of birthday for myself. Yeah, for
yeah,
other people, I can do them for them, but
yeah,
I've never tried to do a birthday for myself.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
would be a cognitive dissonance for me of a sort.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I have the same issue because it feels like when someone here in Europe is in Belgium or in France tells you that they celebrate Halloween, for example, like what are you talking about? It's Halloween doesn't exist here. It's
Yeah,
not in our culture, and that's the same. Except people think it's about you, and you don't, and it's weird.
yeah, and Halloween also it's about sweets.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't love sugar. The last time that I ate sugar, as sugar, it was in 1996. I don't like sugar, and Halloween they stuff children with sweets and what. So yeah, this holidays are strange. Uh,
Yeah.
I understand. Jehovah's Witnesses follow each holiday, and they dig its pagan origin and they teach you about it.
Uh, uh.
Christmas, Easter, everything they know is pagan origin.
Do they celebrate any holidays at all?
No. Oh, okay. Yeah, they do celebrate Passover.
Okay, because it's
But Passover,
biblical.
it doesn't happen on a Friday. It happens on a full moon in Nissan 14. That's the only thing that they celebrate.
Yeah, yeah. That's, they strike me as very fundamentalist.
Yes,
And how does
stick
that
to the Bible.
Yeah, but how does that fundamentalism translate into the world that we live in today? Surely, there are, do they follow the Bible as a guide 100% down the line? Surely they don't have slaves, and surely they don't sacrifice animals, on altars.
Yeah, because
Like,
they look at covenants. There's a
oh, so it's a
covenant that
new
happened in the
covenant
Old
and an old
Testament,
covenant.
covenant in the New Testament, and they would tell also when Paul talked about slave masters, he was talking about employees, and there is some rationalizing also that takes
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they don't like doing the barbaric things,
Yeah,
but they do stick into the Bible.
yeah,
They hate violence and they love peace because their
right.
message is about peace. But
Yeah,
that is what is confusing also. But the biggest thorn is God, 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 God. The
yeah,
lifestyle, I love their lifestyle as a group, even though I doubt their friendship because all the good friends that I had, my house was a very entertaining place.
yeah,
Every weekend, my house was busy. I'm a Braai person, and there would be Braai and there would be visitors every time. And my life was lively as a Jehovah's Witnesses. And got this fellowship, they disappeared, all of them. And now I don't have those Braais anymore because now the new people that I'm going to get used to, they don't behave the same. People
yeah.
that are not Jehovah's Witnesses, when I make a Braai, they leave the dishes and they don't clean the house. Jehovah's Witnesses have been indoctrinated that when they come to a place, they leave it clean. So, so that's a hurt over that I've got that comes from Jehovah's Witnesses that is spoiling my life now.
It's so funny, the little things, the little things that we that
Yeah,
we
you
remember
throw
from
a party
religion.
for Jehovah's Witnesses, they leave your place clean.
It's cleaner than before they came.
Yeah, and by 8 o'clock, all of them are gone. They won't hang around until very late.
Yeah, they have to go do Bible study.
So you try to do the same out here. Then there are guys that are drunk on the sofa, and some things are broken and the like. And you see now it introduces some other things that
Yeah,
you don't understand for many years.
yeah,
But at least these people don't believe in fairy tales.
yeah,
Now the fairy tale gets into your life and it was
yeah,
working in certain spots, but it's a fairy
exactly.
tale.
Yeah, yeah. And it
So
always strikes
can you
me.
see it's damaging for a very long time.
Yeah, yeah. But what always strikes me is the fact that it's fake. It's not authentic. So
Exactly.
if I go and visit my friend's place and I'm tired, excuse me, and I'm tired, I'll ask them, hey, can I go lie down in your bed? Like, I just want to take like an hour's sleep, and they're fine with it. And that's just a natural interaction. Whereas if it was in the context of religion, you'll be sitting there, shirt buttoned up, and you'll be on your best
Oh
behavior, and
no.
what are people
No, but
thinking,
with
and I have to.
Jehovah's Witnesses also, you are at home anywhere. I
Yeah,
remember one day I went to Lesotho. I thought
yeah,
that the border case closes at 10 o'clock.
yeah,
And I was passing Zerast, and it was past 8, and the border was closed.
yeah, yeah.
During that time, I was at Jehovah's Witnesses. I asked people around, do you know Jehovah's Witnesses? They said, yes. I went to, they showed me where they stay. I entered the house. Hi, my sister, how are you? I'm a brother from Johannesburg. I was going to Lesotho. Then the meal was there, and they arranged for me to sleep. I went to what's that city? Michigan in America. Even there, the welcome was great. Even though they never knew me, showed me around just because I'm a brother. But the very same people, if I go today to them and tell them that I'm disfellowship, they won't even want to talk to me.
Yeah.
So, was it genuine, the love that they gave me? No, it was the love that they gave Jehovah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's so sad. And you know, surely, you know, because we see a different side. You know, from my perspective, Jehovah's Witnesses have got a public relations or like a you know, a side that they show to the world, and then there must be another side that they're not showing to the world. You know, the things that happen in private. You know, the things that people don't see. And you know, we've heard you know, horrible stories of people being abused, you know, in all different manners, and
Yeah, that side. Let's say Dean is Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm a Jehovah's Witnesses. I borrow 200,000 from Dean,
yeah,
and now I don't pay Dean. Dean cannot take me to the court. He can only take me to elders, because Jehovah's Witnesses cannot wash their dirty linen in public. If I take Dean to the court,
you to court. I'm taking you to court tomorrow.
then I'll be marked. I'll be marked in the congregation, because I don't listen to the scriptures. The scripture says we should not embarrass the congregation in public.
Right. Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how different is the Jehovah's Witness Bible compared to the Christian Bible?
It's the same Bible.
I think it's the same shit. Oh, sorry. Did I say shit? It's the same thing. My apologies.
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
I thought there
It's
were
the
a
same
couple of
thing,
books.
and things like where it says Gehenna. You know, other Bibles where it's written Gehenna, they will say hell, or where it says Sheol, they will say hell. Then Jehovah's Witnesses would write it as it was written in the Hebrew scriptures. Gehenna, meaning a place that was outside Jerusalem, where they throw dumping things. So for Jehovah's Witnesses, it's very important to let people know that there's no hell.
Right.
So where?
They believe in hellfire.
No.
Yeah.
No. Because where the Bible, everywhere in the Bible where you see hell, it's either it was written hell, it was written Gehenna or Sheol.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sheol means grave. Gehenna means a place outside Jerusalem where they used to burn rubbish.
Rubbish, yeah.
Not people. So yeah, their Bible is very strict on that. Where people replace the name Yahweh with Lord, Jehovah's Witnesses would write Jehovah.
Right.
So they call it New World Translation. That's how New World Translation differs from other things. The issue of hell, the issue of the name of God.
Right. So
they
that's
don't
the
want
only changes that they make. Yeah.
They don't want people to confuse Jesus and Jehovah. They want that difference to be seen. That this is the Son, this is the Father, and they are not one, because they don't believe in Trinity also.
It sounds very a la carte, you know, like they took a menu and see like all the different Christian stuff, and they said, I'll have that, I'll have that, I'll have that, and for dessert I'll have that.
Well, that's how all religions work, right?
Yeah, there's a doctrine for every religion.
Because
Yeah,
the beliefs
because for them, they would say, where does hellfire come from? It comes from Catholic. It was not there before Catholic started. So, okay, it belongs to Catholic, not the Bible. They would say Trinity comes from where? Also comes from Catholic. So it's not in the Bible. It's a Catholic teaching. Then we drop it. They don't like things that came with from other churches that were not there before in the first century.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So tell us a little bit about life after you've left. Like what has changed for you? If I'm just thinking about myself now, I was the first thing that changed for me is that I didn't feel guilty about doing anything. I carried with me this big load of guilt, because I was always living in this world where I was so scared of disappointing God, and I was always feeling guilty, like the smallest thing could be.
Not me. I've never felt guilty of wronging God, but I felt guilty of disappointing the organization. God really has never been real to me.
Yeah,
I've never managed to feel God in my life really.
yeah.
So I never felt the relief now that I'm not serving God. At least I'm not with people who are going to be surprised when they discover my lifestyle.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I miss the oneness that we had.
Yeah.
Because we met regularly and we helped each other. I don't get that. It was easy to get my life in order and to make a living. Now making a living, it's an uphill because I have to work with people who I don't trust or they don't trust me, and But I would like to leave you earlier because I've got other people on the other side that I never knew would be here.
I get it. Yeah, we want to say thank you so much for being so generous with your time and for sharing some insights with us. We really appreciate that you share your experience with us, and also other people can relate to your story. It might not be in exactly the same sense, but we all have the same story at the end of the day. So from our team, I would just like to say thank you very much. Go back to your party and enjoy your friends and enjoy the company. And we thank you very much.
Yes, then I'll have another opportunity to talk without this pressure where I keep on looking and seeing whether they are not leaving or not. Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Yes, I wish to talk to you some other time. I listened to your interviews, but I heard your voice now right in my ears in live.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.